I thought promotion would mean progress. Turns out it just means a new set of bullies from bigger cities with cleaner uniforms. Welcome back to Baseball Dreamland. It's 1907 and we're diving into another season with the New London Whalers and Out of the Park Baseball 26. The Chicago Cubs won their second straight National League championship and looked unstoppable on their quest for a third straight Roosevelt Cup title. But the Class A New York Highlanders blocked the Cubs from total domination by defeating them in the Roosevelt Cup Final. Meanwhile, the Los Angeles Angels and Havana Cubans won the smaller pyramids. Miles Marriott and Harry Long tore through Class C like it was tissue paper, racking up 93 wins and vaulting New London to a surprise promotion into the Class B fourth-tier gauntlet. With 24 new clubs joining the main pyramid, it now has 198 total. Class C now features 6 leagues, which means Class B will relegate 6 clubs this season, the 4 last-place finishers, plus the next 2 worst records, to make our survival bid just a little bit more tenuous.
Oh, come on!
This will be the final season Class D promotes 2 teams per league, pushing Class C up to 8 leagues and 64 clubs total. Here are 120 clubs fighting it out across the top 5 tiers. Everyone's chasing that National League crown and trying to unseat the back-to-back champion Chicago Cubs. 25 clubs in green earned promotion to higher tiers, while 13 clubs in red were relegated down the pyramid, and 27 in yellow moved to new leagues within tiers. The Roosevelt Cup winning Highlanders are back in the American League. Meanwhile, the New York Giants and Boston Americans were dumped into Class A and now face Brooklyn in the most brutal international league yet. Only 6 clubs rebranded this offseason. Most notably, the Boston Beaneaters are now the Boston Doves because their manager thought red dye could cause wounds to become infected.
Surely you can't be serious.
I am serious, and don't call me Shirley.
They changed their uniforms to all white, hence the Doves. Class D keeps growing like a teenager on a bulk phase. 12 leagues, 78 clubs, even after losing 20 to promotion. 4 clubs in red dropped from Class C, 21 green newbies are making their debut, 24 yellow clubs shuffled leagues like a bad game of musical chairs. 5 more name changes down here, including 4 clubs in the Indiana-Ohio League. Brand consultants everywhere are feasting. The West Coast Pyramid adds a 3rd tier. Say hello to the Alameda Grays, Oakland Commuters, and San Jose Prune Pickers, because apparently fruit counts as intimidation now. They start up the 3rd tier Class D California League. Bellingham and Tacoma flip spots in the first ever West Coast Pro Rel Shuffle. Meanwhile, the Cuban system is now fully balanced with 8 teams per level and new entries from Matanzas and Columbia. Vancouver's veterans are now the Canucks, and Grays Harbor became the Aberdeen Black Cats. Consider the intimidation level officially upgraded. Welcome to the Class B Tri-State League, an ironic name given the teams hail from 8 different states. We competed with Holyoke in 1903 while in Class D, and the Philadelphia Giants in Class C in 1905. The Jacksonville Jays started in Class C and earned promotion last season. The Syracuse Stars and Wheeling Stogies have spent all 5 seasons in Class B, while the Baltimore Orioles and Montgomery Senators are former Class A powerhouses trying to climb back. Owner John Shea bumped our budget from $17,000 to $22,000, still second lowest in this league. Former Class A clubs have double our payroll. Oh, and he expects us to be one of the top teams in this league. Fantastic. The 5th annual Roosevelt Cup features 231 clubs, and only 25 of them will receive first-round byes. Sadly, Out of the Park Baseball only allows up to 256 clubs in tournaments, so the days of everyone qualifying will be over soon. Let me know in the comments how you think qualification should work in the future. As a reminder, I've altered the format to include 2 challenges, one for winning the National League and one for winning the Roosevelt Cup. This series will continue until both challenges are resolved. There are no minor league clubs in the National League yet, so the series cannot end in 1907. 984 first-year free agents joined the universe for the 1907 season. The lottery phase will distribute 2 players to each of the 231 clubs. Our lottery odds have improved to 0.32 this season. The expansion phase will dish out the remaining 522 players to new clubs and club short-on players. The Springfield Babes of the Class D Ohio-Indiana League score the number 1 pick with just a 0.18 chance. Our Tri-State League rival Philadelphia Giants pick second. Holyoke and Baltimore pick in the top 50, while we don't pick until number 108. With the first pick in the 1907 draft, the Springfield Babes select infielder Frank Home Run Baker, and just like that, the league has a new headline act. This nickname might sound like false advertising for now, but scouts are sold on his smooth left-handed swing and uncanny barrel control. The next pick was two-way player Smokey Joe Williams. Then pitchers Walter Johnson, Smokey Joe Wood, and Jose Mendez came off the board next. Harry Hooper heads to the Springfield Senators at number 6, and the Cubs get even stronger by grabbing first baseman Ed Kenichi 7th overall. Our tri-state rival Holyoke selected pitcher Julian Perez with the 35th pick, and the Baltimore Orioles land lefty Andrade at number 49. Syracuse and Montgomery also pick up pitching help with their first picks. Our first pick at number 108 is 18-year-old Carl Sturzer, a starter with decent upside. But for the first time, this draft hasn't made us meaningfully better. Our second pick is Lou Litchi, a 20-year-old shortstop with gold glove potential and hope for some bat development. We've got a log jam at shortstop, giving Lou time to develop. We need to find replacements at assistant general manager and hitting coach for 1907, but we're going to widen the search. 59-year-old Gil Ordonez is our new assistant general manager. He doesn't even have GM ratings. Do I care? No, not really. We already had a scouting director in-house, but how could anyone pass on John Shoup? After spending his playing career with the Troy Trojans, St. Louis Brown Stockings, and Washington Nationals, we've brought his scouting talents to New London. Former Brooklyn Eckford's first baseman Andy Allison is our new hitting coach, and I'm hoping his legendary bat-whispering skills can help us. Marco Sarita was fired to bring in the younger and more talented Josh Beasley, whose legendary fatigue recovery will hopefully allow us to use our starting position players more consistently. And he gives us a nice scapegoat in the event of other injuries. While these moves aren't great for our staff cohesion, all the negativity is driven by pitching coach Crazy Schmidt. If he becomes a problem, we'll make like his namesake and go nuts. The Philadelphia Giants dealt away pitcher Kid Carter to the Class C Winnipeg Maroons in exchange for Spike Anderson, a catcher known more for calling out teammates than calling pitches. Philly fills a hole behind the plate, but talent-wise, feels like they traded a Rembrandt for a refrigerator magnet, and I welcome it. We also made a move, sending right fielder Frank Murphy to the Montreal Royals. Murphy's been with us since 1900, racking up 8.3 WAR, including a standout 149 WRC Plus last season during our climb to Class B. One of our original 1903 pieces, now heading north with a suitcase full of memories and a very tradable bat. Thanks, Frank. Montreal sends us 31-year-old corner outfielder Joe Delahanty. Joe has been with Montreal since the 1900 season and is a proven hitter who posted 12.7 WAR during those campaigns. He's a year older than Frank Murphy, with a better bat but worse glove. Joe is one of 5 brothers playing in the Pyramid this season. The Delahantys might be the most baseball-obsessed family this side of the Van Halens. Ed is the superstar of the bunch, but struggling to stay healthy in his twilight years with the Washington Senators. Jim just got promoted to play with him in the American League. Tom plays with Class A Denver, and Frank plays with our Tri-State League rival Syracuse. Next, shortstop Will Sanford heads to the Orioles. He joined us as roster filler back in 1904, only to break into the lineup and rack up 3.6 WAR last season. Unfortunately, the arrival of Lou Litchi left him expendable. Sanford's off to division rival Baltimore. We wish him luck, as long as it's not too much luck. In return, we get 28-year-old catcher Fuller. He logged some time with Brooklyn back in 1902 and quietly amassed 4 WAR across 4 seasons as a backup in Baltimore. The Toledo native now takes the starting role from Miles Marriott and should hit well enough in Class B. If not, we got a long season ahead of us. One of our most bittersweet moves, closer Albert Page heads to the Lynchburg Shoemakers. He's been here since 1902, notching 12.7 WAR and becoming the first man to ever record 26 saves in a season. That 1905 campaign will go down in Whaler lore, but 1906 saw him marooned on the reserve list, and 1907 promised more of the same. In Lynchburg, he'll return to the rotation. It's a fitting end or new beginning for a true bullpen pioneer. Coming back is 27-year-old outfielder William Donahue. He hasn't impressed at the Class C level, but hey, we need warm bodies in the outfield. He'll compete with Tom Bannon for a bench spot and possibly for the title of Guy You Forgot Was on the Roster. Now let's check in on our Tri-State League competition. Baltimore's led by 42-year-old Wilbert Robinson, who just keeps chugging, and 26-year-old Jack Hayden. Meanwhile, Holyoke is putting its hopes on number 35th overall pick Julian Perez to lead their pitching staff. Jacksonville looks like cannon fodder, though 21-year-old catcher Art Wilson might be enough to prevent a full-scale implosion. As for Montgomery, they drafted Tris Speaker last season, then traded him for 29-year-old pitcher Bob Wicker. Bold strategy. They look like contenders, but it's hard to get to Class A without a shortstop. Our new London Whalers are entering this season as scrappy underdogs. Talent-wise, we're lagging, but we're betting on chemistry, a tight coaching staff, and maybe a few lucky bounces. Over in Philly, the Giants drafted Smokey Joe Williams and have two-way wonder Harry Buckner as well. They're not messing around. Syracuse is chasing promotion too, led by 24-year-old right fielder Frank Schulte, power bat Mike Mitchell, and Joe Delahanty's kid brother Frank. Wheeling, as always, persists. They don't do flashy, but outfielder William Hutton posted 7 WAR in 1906, and apparently that's enough to keep them afloat. Here they are, your 1907 opening day New London Whalers. Julian Matas, Tom Bannon, William Donahue, and Carl Sturzer start the year on the reserve list. Everyone else, they're about to find out what Class B baseball really feels like. Spoiler, it's less forgiving than Class C. That wasn't exactly a massage either. Fuller's first hit as a Whaler plated Lou Litchie and gave us a 5-1 lead. Harry Long shut it down from there, securing opening day victory against Wheeling. Harry Long went the distance, scattering 6 hits, fanning 5 stogies, and refusing to let any earned runs tarnish his opening day masterpiece. It's not flashy, but it's a win, and around here, that's practically worth a parade. Julian Perez's much-hyped debut for the Holyoke Papermakers fizzled early, but they stormed back for a comeback win against the Baltimore Orioles. Smokey Joe Williams, meanwhile, looked like the second coming of Cy Young, except faster, blanking Jacksonville in a 1-0 gem. Syracuse edged Montgomery 2-1 behind Nick Carter. It's a pitcher's duel in Holyoke, but William Landy crushed a no-doubter to left field and broke our spirits. The Papermakers never looked back in their 6-0 shutout. We finish April at 8-7, tied for third in the Tri-State League, perfectly average, and that's perfectly fine. Syracuse leads by 2.5 games. Montgomery trails us by the same. Lefty O'Banion caught a virus and hit the IL, but Frank Oberlin filled in like a champ with 2 wins and a 0.72 ERA. Harry Welsh leads the club in RBI and WAR. 2 outs in the 9th, tying run on, and Harry Noyes at the plate. He lines one directly into the waiting glove of Holyoke's second baseman, another loss to the Papermakers. A 15-15 May keeps us mired in the standings neutral zone behind Holyoke, but comfortably out of relegation's grip. Syracuse is eyeing promotion, while Jacksonville and Montgomery are eyeing the abyss. Walter Patterson posted an .894 OPS, and Frank Hershey reeled off 5 wins for a 2.10 ERA. Tying run at the plate, late in Baltimore, Scotty Alcock steps in and absolutely saws one off the bat. It goes 15 feet. Maybe. Orioles win 4-1. That loss drops us under 500, but we remain in the league's purgatory zone. Too good to panic, too bad to dream. The top 4, Syracuse, Holyoke, Baltimore, and Philly, are neck and neck. Jacksonville's 2.5 games from safety. Hank Perry leads our club with a team best 669 OPS, making him the cream of a sour crop. Lefty Webb quietly posted 2.30 ERA. Holyoke isn't settling. They trade for Jimmy Bannon from the Class A Columbus Senators to shore up the outfield. Name sounds familiar. It should. Jimmy Bannon is indeed Tom Bannon's brother. Both hail from Amesbury, Massachusetts, and if that's not enough Bannons for you, two more, William and George, are hanging out in Class A. William with Schenectady and baby George with Newark. The Orioles are rebuilding on the fly, shipping 43-year-old Wilbert Robinson to the Cincinnati Reds. In return, they snagged catcher Bill Bergen and 1904 first overall pick Beals Becker, who will apparently now be allowed to pitch and hit, finally. Still shedding age like a snakeskin, Baltimore dumps veteran Steve Brody to Class D Trenton in exchange for young outfielder Robert Lindeman. It's a youth movement or a panic attack. Either way, it's happening. Light-hitting Gerald Hayes steps up and loops one just past the infield. Art Wilson scores and we drop another 2-1 heartbreaker. We stumble through July at 12-15 and slip into a tie for 5th. Still 7 games up on Jacksonville, but the Jays are closing in on Grand Rapids for safety. Montgomery is already toast. Syracuse has opened an 8-game lead over Philly. Bill Shipke put in a solid 786 OPS. Frank Hershey, 4 wins and a ridiculous 1.17 ERA. Smokey Joe Williams was a one-man wrecking crew and launched his 28th home run of the season. In the dead ball era, we lose to Philadelphia 6-2. Despite that setback, we tread water with a 500 August. 12 games left and we're 10.5 clear of Jacksonville. Scotty Alcock had himself a month. 31 hits, 17 RBI, and 9 steals. Harry Long threw well enough to win, but kept losing, notching his 20th loss with a 1.55 ERA. We forgive him, assuming we stay in Class B for 1908. We got it done, secured safety with a few games to spare. The clincher, a 3-2 win over Syracuse, sealed by retiring the great Frank Schulte.
That's it, we did it!
We finished 5th in our Class B debut, going 67-73. Not bad for a bunch of Class C graduates. The Philadelphia Giants came just 3 games short of promotion, even with Smokey Joe Williams posting a completely deranged 23.4 wins above replacement. Yes, 23 WAR when combining his hitting and his pitching. But Frank Schulte and the Syracuse Stars outlasted them to grab the Class A spot. Meanwhile, Montgomery and Jacksonville got the message early, and they're both headed back to Class C. We finished 4th in runs scored, 4th in runs allowed, and a lovely -10 in run differential. That mediocrity sandwich didn't taste great, but we still managed to avoid a relegation pickle thanks mostly to our defense. Our fielding was second best in the league, and honestly, that saved our bacon. Rookie Lou Litchie led the team with 6.1 WAR, which is wild considering his OPS was 575. Can only assume he had invisible hands on defense. Bill Shipke bounced back with a solid 3.9 WAR. Fuller had a career year now that he's back at a level where people can't hit a curveball. Joe Delahanty, though, basically a hologram, just 0.2 WAR. All 4 of our starting pitchers pulled their weight. Harry Long led with a 2.15 ERA and 105 strikeouts, but lost 21 games in the process. Frank Hershey's 2.17 ERA and 16 wins were no joke. Mark Clayton finished with an incredible 0.70 ERA, also contributing 6 wins and 2 saves. Down in Class D, Wilkes-Barre holds a 1-game lead over Reading and Trenton in the Hudson River League. 2 of these teams will earn promotion to Class C. Reading can keep controlling their own destiny with a victory against the Trenton Tigers, who enter with a 2-137 record? Meanwhile, Wilkes-Barre needs a win over Harrisburg to clinch that first spot. If Harrisburg pulls it off, we're staring down a 3-way tie. No surprises here. Reading steamrolled Trenton with Ernie Quigley's 6th-inning triple, making it 9-0. The Tigers may have been pitching underhand. Already up a run, Wilkes-Barre outfielder Frank Burke singled home 2 runs, giving the Barons a 5-2 win and promotion to Class C. Wilkes-Barre and Reading head to Class C, while Harrisburg, Altoona, and Lancaster stay put after taking turns abusing Trenton. 2 wins, 138 losses, team ERA 10.26, run differential negative 1,214.
That's terrible.
Emory Olson led the Greenville Hunters to the North Texas League Championship, and the Cleburne Railroaders also earned promotion with a second-place finish. Austin is left out of the celebrations in third. Natchez and Jackson get those golden tickets out of the Cotton States League. Ham Hyatt and the Meridian Ribboners finish third and will have to keep tying bows in Class D. The Danville Red Sox need a win over Mobile to earn promotion. A loss would mean Birmingham can tie with victory against Columbus. Danville's last hope is Joe Berg. He pops it up on the infield. Monty Piffle makes the catch and the door is open for Birmingham. Bill Evans up for Birmingham and he rips one to the right field wall, scoring 2 and making 14-4. 1-game playoff it is. Danville is up 2 and Joe Fay's RBI single extended their lead in the 7th inning, and the Red Sox earned promotion to Class C. Ball player Kenny and the Birmingham Giants finished third and are left behind in Class D. The Charleston Seagulls won the Interstate League and are headed to Class C alongside Danville. The Erie Sailors and Punxsutawney Policemen ride strong seasons to promotion from the Empire State League. The Oil City Oilers didn't make it despite a 93-win campaign. The Topeka White Sox are promoted and face the Hutchinson Salt Packers, who need a win to clinch the second promotion place. If not, an Oklahoma City win against Pueblo will force a 1-game playoff. Oklahoma City must win, but they're down 1 with the bases loaded. Clarence Fink flies out to left field and their promotion dreams dissolve. Hutchinson and Topeka needed a 1-game playoff to settle the league championship, which Fred Badel and the White Sox won. Harry Rush of Hutchinson led the league in pitcher war for the 2nd straight season. The Cairo Giants take the Kentucky-Illinois-Tennessee League crown thanks to Bill Kay. The Vincennes Alices score promotion to Class C with a 2nd-place finish, while Del Trieger and the Jacksonville Jacks just miss out. The Bridgeport Orators and Lynn Shoemakers are tied for the Northern League lead. For each of them, a win clinches promotion. Any loss opens the door for the Worcester Busters to force a playoff. Ball player Daniel strikes out Sam Apurius to complete Worcester's win, and they now wait for help. Bridgeport couldn't offer any. Pop Foster's 7th inning triple made it 7-1 Orators, and they're promoted back to Class C. Lynn is down in the 9th, but with runners on, John Phelan singles, 2 score, and the Shoemakers score 6 in the 9th to clinch promotion. That means Worcester just misses out while Lynn and Bridgeport head to Class C. Ed Walsh dominates again, but will be back in Class C for a 6th season. Oscar Westerberg and the Portsmouth Truckers win 90 games to take the Virginia League, while the York White Roses also earn promotion with 85 victories. The Sioux City Packers and Superior Longshoremen each need a win to clinch promotion. Any loss opens the door for the Chicago Union Giants to win at Lincoln and force a playoff. George Vandegrift demonstrated Superior's superiority with his 5th inning double off the other Vandegrift. The Longshoremen are headed to Class C. Sioux City could not take care of business, losing to Frank Dang and the St. Paul Gophers 7-1, so the door is open for the Chicago Union Giants. Lincoln threatened in the 9th, only for Chicago to turn a double play to end the game. Chicago heads to Sioux City for a 1-game playoff. Where Sioux City's nursing a 9th inning lead, Harry Goodwin strikes out Joe Green to end the game, and Sioux City sneaks through the side door into Class C. The Longshoremen finish above 500 for the first time in their 5th season thanks to league-leading performances by Sylvester Olsen and Jimmy Digert. Chicago and St. Paul stick around in Class D for another season. The Clinton Infants won just 13 games, which makes me wonder if actual infants could do better. Opelousas holds 2nd place in the Gulf Coast League by just 1 game over the Orange Hoo-Hoos. They need a win at Orange to close out promotion, lose, and it's a 1-game playoff. But the Hoo-Hoo's Leo Mahoney tripled in the 6th to make it 7-1, and the scene shifts to Opelousas for the one-game playoff. C.I. Taylor put Opelousas on his back in the tiebreaker, shutting out Orange for his 30th victory and promotion to Class C. Rookie Candy Jim Taylor and the Shreveport Pirates plundered this league to the tune of 127 wins, initiating their journey back to relevance. Frank Home Run Baker leads the Springfield Babes to the Ohio-Indiana League Championship. He'll be joined in Class C by the Mansfield Pioneers, who finished in 2nd place. The Lancaster Lynx finished last, starting a new tradition, I guess. There's drama in Class C as well. The Hattiesburg Tar Heels and Augusta Tourists are tied for the one and only promotion spot in the South Atlantic League. Both head on the road for their final game. Can one shake the other, or are we headed for a playoff? Hattiesburg is down a pair in the 8th, and that home run isn't going to help. The Tar Heels fall at Macon, and Augusta can earn promotion with a win. But they don't take advantage. Columbia homers in the 3rd, and Augusta falls 6-1, and they'll visit Hattiesburg for the one-game playoff, which is where Dan Murphy found his home run stroke at just the right time, powering the Hattiesburg Tar Heels to Class B. That's Hattiesburg's 2nd straight promotion, and it leaves the Augusta Tourists in Class C. 79 losses from Slow Joe Doyle and the Baton Rouge Cajuns earns a relegation badge for the 2nd straight season. Macon's Ashby Dunbar leads the league in batter war for the 2nd straight season. Wynn Clark and the Manchester Textiles stitched together 96 wins and earned promotion to Class B, where they last played in 1903. The Hartford Senators lost 92 and continued riding the shuttle between Classes C and D. Fred Beck and the Davenport Knickerbockers earned a spot back in Class B on their 2nd attempt, while the Chicago Leland Giants lost 95 games and are one and done in Class C. The Ohio Penn's relegation battle comes down to the final day between the Sharon Giants and the Akron Champs. Both are fighting for their Class C lives, and both on the road. Ball player Duff takes a 3-0 lead into the 9th and gets Otto Wagner to complete the shutout. Your move, Akron. They've got the tying run up to the plate, but Bill Phoenix grounds into a fielder's choice, and the Canton Chinamen knock their local rivals down to Class D. Akron drops again, but Marion rises. Frank McNichols leads the Moguls to a Class B return, edging Dayton by 2 games. Bradford and Norwood Gibson come close, but will have to wait their turn. The Rochester Broncos stampede to the top of the New York State League, finishing 27 games ahead of Scranton in a no-doubt runaway. They're back to Class B. Lynchburg's 101-loss faceplant sends the Shoemakers back to Class D and possibly to the Cobbler's bench. Pine Bluff finishes 2 games up on Paris and becomes the 6th and final club promoted out of Class C. The Fort Worth Panthers clawed their way through 3 seasons in Class C, but 84 losses send them down to Class D. Up to Class B now, where the Rock Island Islanders finally break through. Bobby Burns steers them to the title after 5 years at this level. Colorado Springs goes the other way, relegated for a 2nd straight season. Might be time to hit the reset button in the Rockies. Decatur cracks the Class A ceiling on its 5th try, winning the Central League at last. Fort Wayne had the same 5-year run here, but theirs ends with 100 losses and a one-way ticket to Class C. Hooks, Wiltza, and Jim Nealon crushed the stat sheet, but not the standings. Their squad finished 23 games behind Utica, who finally gets promoted after 5 seasons of trying. Ilion and Concord bring up the rear and drop to Class C. The St. Joseph Saints and Kansas City Blues are fighting for their place in Class A. St. Joseph can secure safety by defeating their saintly rivals from St. Paul. If they fall, Kansas City can force a tiebreaker with a win in Dubuque. Cue the tension. St. Joseph needs runs to secure safety, but they can't get them. Hugh Duffy strikes out and Kansas City can force a tiebreaker. Kansas City is down 1, and William Everett's RBI single doubles the deficit in the 8th. The Blues go down swinging straight to Class B. Dubuque takes the title, sending the Dubs to the American League behind star turns from Pete Hill and Frank Kitson. Their final day win was both a championship clincher and Kansas City's executioner. Red Murray and Louis Leroy carry the Buffalo Bisons to 97 wins and a return to the AL for the first time since 1904. Toronto stumbles badly, losing 90 and becoming the last Canadian team out of Class A. Sorry, eh? The Atlanta Crackers finally crack through. 5 years in Class A and now a shot at the AL thanks to a dominant rookie campaign from 19-year-old Walter Johnson. The Nashville Volunteers also had their 5-year run in the Southern League snapped. They've had several close calls, and 81 losses was too many, so they're relegated to Class B. The promotion battle and relegation battles are down to the final day in the International League. The New York Giants control their destiny, a win secures promotion, but Brooklyn is breathing down their neck and playing relegation-threatened New Bedford. Meanwhile, Jersey City is also trying to stay afloat against the Cuban Giants. The Giants have promotion-securing base runners on, but none score as George Brown grounds into a game-ending double play. Brooklyn still got a shot. Jersey City's survival's hanging by a thread. Sam Follinsby surrenders a walk-off single and the Skeeters are relegated. Promotion still possible for Brooklyn though, but they can't get it done in New Bedford. Tom McCreary pops out and Brooklyn will remain in Class A. Christy Mathewson's Giants still win the league and bounce back to the American League. New Bedford survives on the final day, and Jersey City plummets to Class B. The Boston Doves ride Vic Willis to 98 wins and reclaim their National League seat just 2 years after tumbling all the way to Class A. The Phillies are going the other direction, back-to-back relegations. They're joined in the drop zone by Little Rock, Binghamton, and Minneapolis, each of whom were just visiting. That's 3 straight years with the Chicago first, Pittsburgh second finish. Joe Tinker also wins his 3rd straight Batter War crown. The White Sox go 92 losses and out, relegated after a 3-season run in the top flight. Next year's NL will feature 8 clubs from 8 different cities, something we haven't seen since 1903. Say hello to the San Jose Prune Pickers, your inaugural Class D California League champs. They'll head up to the Northwestern League and take their dried fruit jokes with them. That league was won by the Bellingham Gillnetters, who continue their shuttle between Class A and Class B. The Aberdeen Black Cats lose 78 games and finish in 6th for the 2nd straight season, and this time that cost them. They're relegated to the California League. 2 clubs, 1 survival ticket. The San Francisco Seals need a win or a Sacramento loss to stay up. The Cordovas are trying to stay afloat with an upset win in LA. Sacramento can tie the game with a homer, but I don't think that one's got the distance. The Cordovas are relegated to Class B. The Los Angeles Angels go back-to-back as Pacific Coast League champs, keeping their grip on West Coast supremacy. Seattle's Harry Lumley wins his 5th straight Batter War title. Yes, 5th. Sacramento's fall gives them a Class B debut next season. To the Cuban Pyramid, where Rojo wins 94 and grabs a promotion spot by holding off Fay by just 2 games. Robert Wright wins his 2nd straight Batter War title, guiding the club to the top flight. And that is where Habana and Almendares each seek a 3rd title in 5 seasons. Habana will try to win at Alerta and coax a loss out of Almendares against Carmelita. Rafael Almeida's 6th inning single secured Habana's 9-4 victory over Alerta, forcing a win from Almendares. But win they would. Douglas Harbinson's bases clearing triple completed an 18-4 blowout, earning Almendares their 3rd Cuban League championship. While Almendares and Habana take their rivalry to new heights atop the standings, after 89 losses, Punzo is relegated to the Cuban 2nd tier. Candy Jim Taylor didn't just dominate, he redefined the stat sheet. 17.6 WAR, a 478 average, a 1329 OPS, 215 runs, and 441 total bases. He even drew 127 walks. Heine Zimmerman chipped in with 281 hits and 206 RBI, and Shreveport won 127 games. Some clubs don't manage those numbers in 2 seasons. Franz Hosp racked up 58 quality starts in a league-best 15.6 WAR. Smokey Joe Williams put up a 1.6 ERA, a 0.78 whip, and just for fun, hit 31 home runs on the side. Yes, he's a pitcher. And ballplayer Gregory lost 94 games, and that is not a typo. Russ Thornton of Decatur posted the highest zone rating in baseball, while Billy Kelly of Almendares recorded a 1.73 catcher ERA, showing he could frame, block, and babysit pitching staffs. Our guy, Walter Patterson, ranked 7th overall in range factor and putouts. On the flip side, Harmon of Danville allowed 171 passed balls, and Monty Piffle committed 96 errors. It's almost impressive. It's Roosevelt Cup time, our 5th go-round with all 231 clubs chasing glory, including the defending champion New York Highlanders. There are 103 first-round matchups, 7 of which involve Tri-State League clubs. The draw god smiled on us, or at least smirked, handing us manageable matchups. We travel west to face the Class B Vancouver Canucks. Everyone else except Jacksonville gets Class C competition or lower. Tied at 1 in Portland, M. Thompson singles up the middle, and it's a walk-off win for the Beavers against visiting Canton. With that walk-off, Portland earns a date with top-seeded Shreveport. Meanwhile, Little Rock becomes the first AL casualty, falling to the St. Paul Saints. 6-all in Nashua, Babe Town singles to right field, Rip Cannell scores, and the Millionaires rob the Crooks of the series. Nashua will face the Boston Doves next. The Class A Toronto Maple Leafs suffer an early cup exit, losing Game 3 to the Class D Vincennes Alices. 2 wins from ace Franz Hosp put the Class D San Antonio Broncos on his back and sent Class B Evansville packing. The Whalers draw the Vancouver Canucks, who've played all 3 seasons of their existence in the Class B Northwestern League. Their pitching staff is strong, especially 20-game winner Ned Shands, but they only have 2 healthy outfielders left on the roster. Harry Welsh is out with a strained shoulder, Scotty Alcock slides to third, and William Donahue joins our outfield. Down 1 in the 9th, but with 2 on base, Walter Patterson watches it go by for strike 3, and we're shut out despite collecting 10 hits. Up a pair in the 8th, Scotty Alcock single through the infield scored to make it 4-1, a lead we'd preserved to force Game 3. But Game 3 was a comedy of errors. Harry Long misplaying an easy grounder, then allowing a run to score on a passed ball, and finally William Donahue getting doubled up on a line drive to end the game, the series, and our season. We poured 27 hits on Vancouver, they just managed 14, and we somehow got bounced 2-1. Classic case of clutch AWOL. Game 1's meltdown still stings, and not in the motivational poster kind of way. So Vancouver moves on to New Orleans. As for us, we'll be watching the rest of the tournament from the bleachers. Bottom of the 12th in Holyoke, Billy Euler smashes a fly ball to deep center field, and it's gone. The Papermakers walk off the Johnstown Johnnies. Dubuque earned promotion to the American League, but just got swept by a 17-win Class D team. Embarrassing. Meanwhile, the Millers became AL casualty number 2 after a 13-2 hammering from Atlanta. Bases loaded in Altoona, Danny Clare can be the hero, but Hal Bertrand strikes him out. The Olean Refiners advance to the second round. They'll travel to Sacramento next. The Class C Macon Brigands pull off another bracket buster, knocking off Class A Peoria. Bottom 13 in York, where the White Roses smell upset. Carlton Buse singles home Zeke Wilson. The Montgomery Senators are headed home. York will face another Tri-State League club, the Wheeling Stogies, in the second round, and the PCL's Tacoma Tigers go down in flames, swept by Class D's Lincoln Tree Planters. Plant that in your scorebook. Bottom 10 in Mobile, Montreal's Jack Myers gets the Seagulls on a fielder's choice, and the Royals escape to the second round. The Everett Smokestackers become the second PCL club to be swept by Class D competition. Job well done by the Wichita Jobbers. We're in Cairo, Illinois. Carl Vandegraaff rips a single through the right side to score ballplayer French, and the Giants walk off the ABCs. The Boston Americans were Roosevelt Cup finalists in 1903. Now they're stuck in Class A and losing to the Class D San Antonio Black Broncos in the first round. 11th inning in Albany, Otto Nabe dumps a single into center field. Ed Lennox is going to be thrown out at home, but the throw gets away. Senators win. The Milwaukee Brewers battled through a rugged Class A matchup against the Kansas City Blues to move on to the second round. The All-Cubans are clinging to a 1-0 lead. Hugh McCune rolls one back to the pitcher, ending the Cup experience for the Kane Mountaineers. The All-Cubans will travel to Sioux City next and challenge the Packers. Bottom ninth in Bellingham, Frank Schaub delivers a single to left field to give the Gillnetters a walk-off series win over the Norfolk Tars. They'll play host to the National League's St. Louis Cardinals next. Good luck with that one. 12-12 in Harrisburg? Second baseman Dave White is pitching for Franklin, and that wasn't a good idea. Senators win 13-12 and advance. The Trenton Tigers finished the regular season with a record of 2-138 in Class D. They were the very definition of terrible. They've just defeated the Class C Marion Moguls in 3 games, which I have no words to explain other than baseball. Carmelita is trying to stay alive, but walking a Hottentots batter with the bases loaded probably wasn't the best move. Terre Haute advances. Not ideal playoff strategy, but Terre Haute won't complain. They'll host the Nashville Volunteers in round 2. Dave Wyatt is the last hope for the Chicago Union Giants. He hits it hard, but ball player Oswald is there. Binghamton moves on. The Denver Grizzlies traveled to Birmingham for a first-round Class A showdown, and it ended in silence as the Barons post a Game 3 shutout. Newark is nursing a 2-1 lead at Charleston. Ball player Spurl's ground out to shortstop ends the dream for the Canaries, but the Sailors sail on. The Class D Lake Charles Creoles didn't just win, they dominated, sweeping Class B Rock Island off the map. Time for the remaining clubs to join the tournament for the second round. The 14 remaining American League and National League clubs have all managed to avoid each other, for now. Boston has rallied against their Nashua suburb. Duff Cooley grounds one to shortstop, but he can't handle it. The Doves will advance to the third round. The Class D Shreveport Pirates technically upset the PCL Portland Browns, but most Class D clubs don't enter the Roosevelt Cup with 127 wins and 5 players who hit 400. Tied at 5 in the 10th, Joplin's ball player Bannon singles to right field, Owen Wilson scores, and the Miners advanced past the Vicksburg Hillbillies. The Class A Kansas City Blues have defeated the American League's Washington Senators in 3 games. That's the third AL club eliminated in the early stages of the Cup. Almendares is tied up Springfield in the 9th. Manuel Alfonso grounds it to short, but the throw gets away. Jimmy Frick scores and the Cubans are on to the third round. This is a good sectional for Cuba. Second Division Rojo also advances to the third round by upsetting the Class C Macon Brigands. Bottom of the 20th in Springfield, Ohio, lefty Tonneson singles to right field. Ball player Ferris scores from second, advancing the Babes past Fresno. The Class D York White Roses knock Wheeling out, another Tri-State League club down. Isaac Pendleton is Cedar Rapids' last hope. Harry Buckner strikes him out swinging, and the Philadelphia Giants advance. Bad news for the Giants, though. Their 23-war superstar Smokey Joe Williams is out for 11 to 12 months with a torn rotator cuff. They'll try to win without him in the third round against Leavenworth. Ball player McGinnis is Charleston's last comeback hope, but that's popped up in the infield. The Philadelphia Phillies survive and advance. The Tri-State League champion Syracuse Stars sweep Youngstown to advance to the third round against Sioux City. Harrisburg made a furious comeback in the 9th inning. George Smith delivered the final blow to his own team by grounding out to second base. So Omaha advances to the third round and will host the Trenton Tigers. They won again. 2 wins in the entire regular season and now 2 series wins in the Roosevelt Cup. They've gone from meme to hellish nightmare. Tied in Los Angeles, Nate Harris singles to left, Shad Berry scores, sending the Newark Sailors home and the Angels to the third round. The Cuban Stars of Havana just took down Class A Birmingham 1-0 in Game 3. Watch out, Binghamton, you're next. It's time for the third round with 64 clubs remaining. The New York Highlanders travel to Chicago to play the Cubs in a rematch of last season's Roosevelt Cup Final. Utica's looking to get the tying run home, but Joe Shackleton grounds out to shortstop. The New Orleans Pelicans advance to the fourth round. Shreveport finally met their match, losing to the St. Paul Saints in 3 games. The Pirates' dream dies, while the Doves, Browns, Giants, and Tigers all keep theirs alive. Bottom of the 11th in Cuba, John Boakstaler drives a single to right field, and Rojo has upset the Sacramento Cordovas of the PCL. They'll face the Chicago White Sox next, who just knocked out fellow Cuban leaguers Almendares. The Oil City Oilers, Wilkes-Barre Barons, and Springfield Babes also collect walk-off series wins. The Cubs get their revenge on the Highlanders, with Dummy Taylor coaxing a sky-high pop-up from Wid Conroy to seal it. The Roosevelt Cup champions are out. That win sets up a juicy all-NL showdown, Cubs versus Cardinals. Meanwhile, the Rochester Broncos are crashing the party, Class C style, after toppling Class B Ilion to punch their ticket to the fourth round. Hack Simmons represents Newcastle's last hope, tying run on third, 2 outs, and he's rung up looking. Cleveland survives. And just like that, the Trenton Tigers fairy tale ends. Omaha takes the series in 3, and the ultimate Cinderella exits with 5 Roosevelt Cup wins for a total of 7 on the season. Elsewhere, Terre Haute ousts the Baltimore Orioles, leaving just 2 Tri-State League clubs left. It's time for the fourth round with 32 clubs remaining. 2 of the best in the National League, the Cubs and the Cardinals, face off in a rematch of the 1904 Roosevelt Cup Final. There's also a clash between the top 2 American League clubs, the St. Louis Browns and Boston Doves, and the Binghamton Bingos travel to Cleveland to challenge the Naps. 18 innings of madness in Manhattan. Pep Clark finally ends it with a single off Frank Cable. The New York Giants eliminate the Kansas City Blues. Game 3, bottom 9, tied. Jack Lively legs out a swinging bunt. John Patient scores, and the Oil City Oilers outlast the Springfield Babes. The Bradford Drillers mount a 9th inning comeback to shock Class A Atlanta. Not to be outdone, Class D Wilkes-Barre Barons walk off Rockford. Tie game in Rochester. Abby Johnson ropes a single up the middle. Broncos walk off Philly, and the Class C dream lives on. Back to Chicago, where John Knight becomes the Cubs' latest walk-off hero, singling to left to send the Cardinals packing. A rough day for National League stalwarts. 2 more knocked out in this section. The Philadelphia Phillies get swept by the Tri-State League champion Syracuse Stars. The Cleveland Naps are swept by the Binghamton Bingos. With 16 teams left, the map's getting weird. The West Coast and Cuban Pyramids are fully wiped out. 2 Class D clubs remain, and they'll play each other for the right to join Guthrie in the record books as quarterfinalists. Bases loaded in the 9th, but Harry Croft's liner finds Mike Donlin's glove and left. Reds hang on. Binghamton's run ends. Bottom 12th in Chicago, and it's Joe Tinker's turn to be the hero. But he's struck out by Danny Friend. The Syracuse Stars stun the Cubs in extra innings. The Wilkes-Barre Barons win the Class D showdown and move into the quarters. The St. Paul Saints outslug the Boston Doves, eliminating the American League's last hope. Other regional squads fought valiantly, but the run ends here. 4 regional clubs make the quarters. 3 were minor league teams in 1903, and any of them winning the cup would spoil challenge number 2. St. Paul visits the newly promoted Giants. Wilkes-Barre hosts the recently relegated White Sox. Syracuse looks to keep their giant-slaying streak alive against Pittsburgh. And the last matchup pits the Reds against the red-hot Philadelphia Athletics. All due respect to the Barons, but this was a mismatch. George Davis drives in his 4th run to make it 8-1, and the White Sox cruise into the semis. They'll face the New York Giants, who pounded the St. Paul Saints on their way to represent Class A in the semifinals. Bottom 12th and bases juiced for Wilbert Robinson, and he chops a routine grounder to second. The Athletics escape and head to the semifinals. They'll meet their in-state rivals, the Pittsburgh Pirates, who needed all 3 games but finally ended Syracuse's wild run. With that, all remaining 1903 minor league clubs are eliminated. Challenge number 2 survives. We're down to 4. The 1903 champion Pirates look to return to the final. The White Sox are trying to complete the weirdest season ever, relegated and Roosevelt Cup winners in the same year. The Giants aim to become New York's 2nd straight Cup champ, and the Athletics are 2 series wins away from history. Ozzie Schreckengost slaps a 2-out RBI single in the 5th, enough for the A's to hold on 4-2 and send Pittsburgh packing. The Giants led by 3 in the 9th, then the wheels fell off. Tom Daly caps a shocking comeback with a walk-off triple, and the White Sox steal the series. Both series went the distance. Chicago used late-inning heroics. Philly relied on steady pitching and timely hits. The final is set. 2 NL bottom dwellers clashed for the Cup. The White Sox incredibly became the first club to get relegated and reach the final in the same season. They are banged up. Fielder Jones and Lee Tannehill are out, leaving Danny Green as their only 3-star player. Meanwhile, the Athletics avoided relegation by just 6 games and are also missing ace Jonathan Bender. But with Andy Coakley, Harry Davis, Topsy Hartzell, and Sox Siebold, Philly looks like the favorite. Both clubs reached the final playing games exclusively on the road. The White Sox rolled past Cuban squads, a Class A contender, and some minor league dreamers. The Athletics had to outlast Cincinnati and Pittsburgh. Doesn't matter who you beat, just matters that you're still standing. Game 1 went extra innings, with Harry Davis delivering up the middle, Danny Murphy rounding third, and the Athletics walk off the White Sox. Chicago led Game 2 late, but a bases-loaded walk to Billy Lush tied it at 5. 2 batters later, Monty Cross splits the gap for Philadelphia's 2nd straight walk-off victory and 1907 Roosevelt Cup championship. The final ends in a sweep for the first time in 5 seasons, with both games ending in Athletics walk-offs. Davey Dunkel was the late game choice for Chicago in both, and both times it blew up in their face. Congratulations to the Philadelphia Athletics on becoming the 1907 Roosevelt Cup title holders. They're the only club in baseball to have won the American League, National League, and Roosevelt Cup. Don't forget about the Chicago Cubs, who've now 3-peated the National League and show no signs of slowing down. The dynasty is very much alive. Also, congrats to the Los Angeles Angels on winning the West Coast Pyramid and Almendarez on winning the Cuban Pyramid. As for the Whalers, mission accomplished. We stayed afloat. We didn't exactly make waves in the Roosevelt Cup, bowing out in the first round for the first time since 1903, but we lived to fight another season, and in 1908, with 2 clubs dropping from each Class B league, we'll need all hands on deck. But that's a problem for the next video. That's it for 1907. If you're enjoying the journey, please hit that like button, subscribe button, and stay tuned for 1908. Before that, I'm going to post a recap video of our first 5 seasons of promotion and relegation baseball. See you for that one.